Have you ever wondered how to become a better person in the eyes of God? How can we grow in virtue and live a life that truly reflects the love and teachings of Christ? Let's take a journey together, looking at how, as Catholics, we can grow in virtue and transform our lives. Virtue is the foundation of Christian living. It's not just about doing good things, but it's about being good, aligning our hearts with God's will. In the Bible, St. Paul reminds us that we should put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness, Ephesians 4 verse 24. But what does that mean for us practically? The first step in growing in virtue is understanding what virtue is. Virtues are habits that enable us to live in a way that is pleasing to God. They are the qualities that make us more like Christ. In Catholic teaching, there are 4 cardinal virtues: prudence, justice, fortitude, and temperance. These virtues are the foundation of moral living. Along with the cardinal virtues, we also have the theological virtues: faith, hope, and charity, love. These virtues are gifts from God that allow us to live in relationship with Him and others. To grow in virtue, we must first recognize our need for God's grace. Without God, we cannot grow in virtue on our own. St. Paul says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," Philippians 4 verse 13. It's through prayer and asking for God's help that we begin to grow in virtue. Our efforts to live virtuously must always be rooted in humility, knowing that we cannot do it by our own strength. One of the most important ways to grow in virtue is through the practice of daily prayer. Prayer opens our hearts to God and helps us to discern His will. Through prayer, we invite God's grace into our lives and ask for the strength to grow in virtue. It is in prayer that we ask for the virtues of the Holy Spirit to be stirred in us: wisdom, understanding, counsel, fortitude, knowledge, piety, and fear of the Lord. Each of these gifts helps us live according to God's plan. Another essential step is the regular practice of the sacraments. The Eucharist, especially, strengthens us spiritually and nourishes our souls. It gives us the grace to persevere in living virtuously, even when it's difficult. The sacrament of reconciliation, confession, is equally important. It allows us to be purified and healed when we fall short, and it strengthens us to continue our journey toward holiness. Growing in virtue also involves taking action. We must actively practice the virtues in our daily lives. This means choosing to be patient when we feel frustrated, being kind when it's difficult, showing humility in our relationships, and seeking justice when we encounter injustice. As St. James says in the Bible, "Faith without works is dead," James 2 verse 26. Virtue is not just about intentions, it's about living out those intentions in our actions. Lastly, it's important to have good role models. The saints are the perfect examples of how to live a virtuous life. They were men and women who allowed God's grace to work in them, and their lives reflect the beauty of living virtuously. By meditating on their lives and asking for their intercession, we can grow in virtue. In conclusion, growing in virtue is a lifelong journey, but it is a journey that brings us closer to God and to the person He created us to be. Through prayer, the sacraments, and daily actions, we can grow in the virtues that will make us more like Christ. Remember, it's not about being perfect, but about striving to live a life rooted in God's love and grace. May we all grow in virtue and become the people God is calling us to be.